Everybody's in the right places. Looks like we're ready to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of Live Feature Rant. We are now in week 4 of closed beta. We've got a patch going right now, so the servers are down. So for the next 20 minutes, plus however much longer it's going to take for everything to get on, everybody call all of your friends up in here, and we'll have a good old time. So my guests here today, we have Super Fancy Unicorn, who is a well-known streamer in the community here, as well as Tall Ice Latte, who isn't a streamer, but is somebody who's been very active in the community, and you'll probably see in a lot of streamers' channels. So, thank both of you awesome people for joining today, because it's totally cool to have the three name crew. Tall Ice Latte, Super Fancy Unicorn. I gotta get some like Neurotoxin the Legend or something. That was one of my alts on Planet Side.
Oh.
Well, neurotoxin is 2.
You could divide it up into 2 words, you're right.
No, I think neurotoxin itself actually is one word. I mean, I could space it out into 2, but
we can make it 3.
We'll
we
make
can
it
stretch
work.
it out. It's the internet.
Yeah.
Anyways, so before we get started here, let's go over a little bit about both of your background as gamers and such, and how you got into Landmark. Uni, why don't we start with you?
Okay. I've been gaming since forever, like a lot of us here, I'm sure. Landmark is really my first building game. I played a little bit of Starbound, which I think you like, Neuro. But I honestly have to say I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I have. But it's kind of... I've gotten addicted, so I'm a big fan. I'm not the best builder, but I'm enjoying learning, so...
For sure, and it's a lot of fun to build.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't remember, you didn't play any of the previous EQ games, did you?
Oh, I did. EverQuest 1 was my first MMO. I played EQ2. I've tried pretty much everything at some point, so...
Gotcha. Very cool. Alright, Tall Ice Latte, how about you? Tell us about your background as a builder, as a MMO player. And
Sure. I got into gaming kind of a roundabout way. My husband was a huge gamer, and I was like, no, I don't want to do any of that. And it started kind of with SWG. He said, look, what you can do with a house, you can decorate, you can do this, you can do that. And it kind of caught my interest. And so he was kind of working it like I think a lot of gamers do with trying to get their wives to play. Well, he hooked me. And so I've been playing ever since then. We actually started with Ultima Online way back in the day.
Oh, yes,
and I was
me
like
too.
terrified of any kind of combat, and so all I wanted to do all day long was fish. Like that's all I wanted to do because I was terrified. And so then moved on to SWG, and that is kind of just like a blur of dancing and hot pants, and I don't know, it's all a blur.
I was an entertainer too. That's awesome.
Yeah. So then I started playing World of Warcraft, and I liked that for quite a while. It kind of got a little bit old, but the first game that I ever made it to the end game. Like I have never made it to the end game except for EverQuest 2.
Gotcha.
And I really did like it. I never raided. I was not real hardcore, but I did enjoy playing EverQuest 2. I had a great guild there, great group of people, and I loved it. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. How long are you still playing it concurrently, or did you stop at some point?
I kind of took a break. I don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to gaming, so I have a hard time playing more than one game at a time. And so it's just been ever since Alpha, it's just been Landmark for me.
Gotcha.
And I did actually play while after I kind of wanted a break from EverQuest 2, and in between there, I played Minecraft. I started out playing Minecraft because I wanted to have something to relate to my son with. I have an 11-year-old son, and I was like, he's into Minecraft. Let me go ahead and we'll have something in common. And he ditched it a long time ago, but I still play. So I like
cool.
it a lot.
Gotcha. What's he playing then?
He's into Team Fortress 2 right now. He's a first-person shooter kind of guy, and it's one genre that I haven't played.
I mean, to be fair, it's half first-person shooter and half hat simulator. So,
Well, that's
you
true.
know,
That's true.
don't be surprised if the next game he gets into is like some sort of hat fashion dynasty or something.
Yeah, I think he spends more money on his costume design than anything else in the game. So whatever.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. So there's plenty to talk about.
Hmm.
First, there was actually something from last week that I meant to talk about but didn't, so I'll bring it
Oh,
along for this one.
cool.
So the ability to have guidelines, grids, just to be able to have a grid in an area so you know where stuff is supposed to line up, kind of like you'd see in Photoshop or potentially 3D modeling programs and other programs. Something just to help orient, what you're doing and where you're trying to work, and be able to see exactly where the center of the area you're working in is at all times, rather than having to guess, like, am I off center? Did I do things too wide and now I've got a two voxel center? All that sort of silly stuff that can come up. Just being able to have a floating grid or something like that would be a really great feature. What do you two think?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
absolutely.
Unicorn. Yeah.
Because right now you can sort of line stuff up, like using the select tool is what I do pretty often, but it's clunky. So to have dedicated guidelines that would stay up and not interfere with the select tool would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing that, especially if you're one of those super anal retentive people, not that we have anybody like that here. But if you are off by one voxel, it's so annoying. And so if you have those grid lines to help you, in your analness, that would be a good thing.
The worst is when you don't realize it till later when you're going back and like adding details or
Yes.
something. It's like, no.
Yes. And then you've already got so much already done. And then
Hmm.
you have to debate with yourself, do I bother to go back knowing that it's going to bug you the whole time?
Yes,
Right.
it's like, will anyone else notice?
Exactly. Can I put a plant there?
There
That's my trick.
you go.
Nice. I'll have to remember that.
Yes.
Actually, that is a really good idea. Something, because if you've got like just some artifacting that if you're gonna try to fix it, you're gonna have to kind of chase that edge all the way out across the entire rest of the claims. Like, nope, fuck
Right.
it, gets a plant.
Exactly. Time for some dishes.
I like it. That's a good fix. It's a good way to do
Fuck it, get the plant. I like it.
it. All right. So, something that's I'm starting to see as an issue. We get 3 million voxels of template space. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I easily ate through all of that just from my alpha builds, and you know, that's kind of not cool because now I can't build any more big stuff and template it off until either A, they add a feature to increase one space, like either a paid purchase feature or something that can be earned, um, or B, they just increase everybody's storage space in general. Thanks for the follow. Or the other thing is just using an alt account. I mean, I at this point, I hate to say it, but I still have all of my Trailblazer or my giveaway. Yeah, I guess they're my Trailblazer keys. I haven't really given any away because it's still at a point with the beta where I was kind of not sure when the next wipe was going to be coming, and the state of things. Now I'm probably going to start giving them away a little bit more during giveaways
Mhm.
and stuff, just because we're still going to have some time before combat and caves and all that stuff comes through.
Right.
Meanwhile, anybody can grab a pick and an axe from any of the free take one boxes and just start harvesting materials, so they don't have to spend all the time or potentially money later on to get all of that stuff. But anyway, alt account versus just things to increase template storage. Should it even have to come to that people have to make an alt account just to be able to hold more templates, basically, or should it be something where we really have a lot more space and it's just maybe 3 million's the lower limit until you get 10 thumbs up, and then it goes up to 30 million or something?
Well,
Well,
I think it would be a good feature to have. You're kind of doing the workaround right now by having alts, and that's kind of like the free way to get it. I would love to see them adding an expansion or expander that you could purchase with station cash to, because I wouldn't call myself a huge builder, but I am almost at my max as well. And so I can see very quickly the people running out of room.
Damien and I just said in chat that Dave mentioned there'd actually be an achievement system to increase voxel storage. So apparently they do have plans for it.
Good.
It's just, it couldn't come any sooner. Need it now.
how can you tell how close you are to your limit? I don't know even what I am.
On the templates page, it shows some number
Oh,
dash
And
3
the numbers on the
million.
top.
okay,
Mhm.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Cool. I have a lot of empty space though, so I guess I'm still okay, but I can see that being a problem.
Yeah, I mean, just my alpha builds, the
Just
3 that I
exactly,
posted,
and
is
that's
like
what mine is
one and a
alpha.
half million.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'd be even more. I mean, the giant tower that I had, the giant floating tower,
Uh-huh.
that was about 1.5 million that I managed to hollow out to 500,000. So not as bad. I was able to actually save it off that way and store it. But
I've been getting a lot of templates, from swap meets and things like that, and so that's where a lot of my storage capacity is gone. Is to all the really epic things that I've been seeing other people build. I'm like, ooh, copy that, copy that.
yeah, for
I
sure.
might need this someday.
That's right. You never know, right? When am I might need that seahorse. It's awesome.
I'm still trying to track down that really nice Helvetica looking font that someone did.
Yeah.
They posted it over on Omeed's claim during the swap meet. For some reason I didn't grab it then, and I haven't seen it since. I don't know
Yes,
anybody who
you
has
mentioned
it.
that the other day, and you need somebody listening needs to give that.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
because that perfect for inlays, perfect for. I want to really redo my billboard with all of the streaming information, bright lumicite, so have it look on a nice fancy font.
Oh my gosh, I want that font from that roller coaster that they showed during the stream.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
It's like, can I hire you, please?
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Cool. Oh, Cody says he has the font.
Oh, cool.
Great.
Awesome.
Yay.
We will have to hit you up for that afterward. Sweet. All right. Um, so eventually those achievements will come through, and that'll help out with the template storage. Now, something that's been a subject comes up a lot recently. Materials bleeding into other materials. Some bleed a little more than others. Some you can have. I was actually testing on a cube. I put a few different materials. Then I put a little bit of rubicite on, and it just covered the entire thing.
No.
So by the time I deleted it, it was a 4x4x4 with the inside hollowed out, and it only had about 7 rubicite voxels in the entire thing, but that was enough to pretty much get everything except the corners into rubicite. So there's definitely some things bleed more than other things. Some things will bleed into other things versus some other materials. Thanks for the follow. Some other things will just not bleed whatsoever. So that's really something I want to know. I'd love to have them set up as a bleed index, basically, or a material bleed index sort of thing. So we can see like bleed groups. Let's say things that don't bleed whatsoever are group A. Things that will only bleed with other things within the group, that would be like a group B. Things that try to bleed with everything, maybe that'd be C or D, or however they'd have to classify it. I'm sure they know more about exactly what does everything. So it would be on them to really be able to figure that sort of thing out. And I'm not sure how much that would be a game designer's role, or if that would be the UI designer having to set that sort of thing up, or how that would come together. It'd probably be many different factors, many different parts of the team to make it happen. But it would make things just so much easier with the building process, and making things look really nice and clean.
Hmm.
So that being said, what are the kinds of features that you would want to see with the bleed index?
Well, I think my first question is, was it intentional even to begin with? I mean, did they have some bleed and some not? I don't know. I'm not clearly they must have, I guess.
Yeah.
As a designer, you may have more input to that. I don't know.
Well,
But
they definitely design like wood's not supposed to bleed with dirt,
right.
for example, and ore is supposed to kind of bleed across other ores and other really natural materials. But you're right. There's also a lot of it that we still haven't seen, like the raw metals. Okay, that's great, but once we have all of the variations that we have for iron with all the different metals, that gives us a lot more variation. But of course, there's still going to be potential bleed issues using one metal versus another in the same space.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's funny because in the chat, it seems like some people are like, "Yay, I love the bleed," and other people are like, "I can't stand the bleed." And so I think it just depends on what use you're going for. When I throw a bunch of them up for a picture, an art effect, I love it. But then when I'm trying to build something and it bleeds, I can't stand it. So I would love a toggle switch to yes bleed or no
Yeah.
bleed.
Well, Ara was saying bleeding is natural or intentional to help landscapes blend. So if you're building a more natural thing, it makes sense. But if you're trying to build a precise
Right.
thing, it doesn't work out. A
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
toggle
a
would
good
be
point,
great
Art.
though.
Yeah.
Just being able to know more about it and be able to control it better is really, I think, what most people would want for something like that, because there's so much. And I guess that's also once again coming with the fact that we really don't have all the versions and variations. We don't have all the variations of marble for alabaster and amaranthine, and we don't have really any variations for the water voxels, the snow and the ice. So that's a lot of stuff that I guess when those things come down, further down the road, maybe they'll do another look over what bleeds with what and be able to do like a full-on index for us, because it's going to be 10 times easier for the developers to do it than the players to do it. And on one hand, the players have infinite work hours to commit to something like that because there's many of us with a whole lot of time on our hands. But at the same time, we also wouldn't be able to have as complete and up to date a document as the developers themselves will be able to produce.
Hmm.
So maybe it'd be something later down the road that could be a joint effort that they just feed us the raw information and we do the work to put it into a nice wiki or something that they can then re-import into the game in some format or another.
Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. I hear some gardeners somewhere.
Oh, it's me. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
At least they're not jackhammering anymore.
or the cement dump truck.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need Stockus in here to yell at them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's quite talented at yelling.
Our official pantsless yelling person.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
they talked a little bit about they just did the pass on gold recently, and I gotta
Right.
say some of it looks really nice, but some of it looks really cheesy, and I
Dang, I
mean,
thought it looked really good.
well, no, by cheesy I mean the
Literally
yeah
Oh, like cheese.
the riveted gold. The rivets are
riveted.
shiny, but the rest of it is kind of matte. It doesn't really
Uh-huh.
reflect the light the same way, so it kind of looks like a block of cheddar if you place it just right and you don't have any of the rivets showing. So
Seriously.
it's
That's
it's
funny.
it's
I guess I
really
didn't look
funny
closely enough.
because they didn't make it like shiny and luminant enough, and it's just like yellow, like cheesy yellow color.
Right. It almost looks like Velveeta. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
really,
it does.
seriously. Yeah. It's not as warm or rich looking as the other golds for sure. I was a little bit disappointed in that. Maybe they'll take another look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is still beta. I have to keep reminding myself that. Like, even though a lot of us have been playing since alpha, it's like they still have so much to do. So,
Right.
Yeah. It's funny, and of course they still got the rest of the gold materials and stuff too. They still haven't gotten all the ones they have for iron, and they've taken out. They still haven't given us gold ore as a material to work with again. So,
hmm.
I'd love to see that come back, just because It kind of looks nice. We have ore for pretty much all the other metals.
Hmm.
It's weird to me that they took it out. I don't know. Maybe it was just an oversight and they just haven't changed it yet. Oh well.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense to just take out one thing. So they'll probably
Right.
put it back.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of work going on behind the scenes for all of the materials and updating them all, and we just won't see them. It'll be a latent process, and then all of a sudden, like 3 or 4 weeks down the road, or maybe 2 weeks before open beta, hey everybody, surprise, materials! You get materials, and you get materials, and you get materials.
I can't hear that without thinking about the bees gif. Surely you've seen it.
Yes.
Anyway. But yeah, it's funny. It's like, how do you balance adding new stuff with fixing, old things? What ratio do you work,
Right, right. And that's once again, we still don't know how much of it's a latent process that's being worked at iteratively, or how much of it is just like these things are on hold until a later time, or until we have the summer intern that will just have cranking out all of the materials of all the variations, because it seems like a lot of them are, I would say, almost formulaic, that you're going to take plus or minus the same uh, appearance, like the bump map and some of that stuff, but it's just what color it's going to be is different from one material to the next, and maybe the how reflective it is, and then into the higher materials, the luminance, because I'm sure crafting with mithril and probably ethereum, they'll have their own luminance with the various material variations that'll be possible.
And I have to say, I mean, Mithril right now is, I think, my all-time favorite to work with. I think it's just, I really like the luminance that it's got.
I've wanted to build a whole bunch of stuff with all this mithril, but then I know I'm just gonna have to like break parts of it off as I need more weapons and stuff.
Right.
It's gonna feel weird.
Chisel off part of the wall for a weapon.
Yeah. Well, you got your sword, but now I don't have a window.
That's right.
Just hit him with the window. It would totally work.
Well, now that we have glass.
Speaking
Yeah.
of windows, we've got glass now, so that's good.
Yep.
Exciting. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. The scaled down version looks a little bit weird because the two panes kind of squished together. Instead of having scale up, they get a little bit more separate. So the way the light kind of plays with them is a little different. But the scaled down versions, they're just all squished and tiny and stuff. So they look like they'd make better glass tiles rather than something that you would use as a teeny little window. But it's nice because we can just, as a prop, we can just use it as a picture or like a cover over one of those voxel art things to make it look like it's in a picture frame.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Excellent idea. Actually, I'm stealing it right now.
Do it. That's really awesome.
Well, eventually, too, we'll have glass as a material. So I think that'll take care of some of the weird sizing issues.
That's a good point.
Ara says that we're getting new wood texture in biome number 5, confirmed by Dave Georgeson, and all evidence points to birch.
That's right. They
Pretty.
did show off the birch, but I haven't seen it yet, so that would be awesome.
Would that be like a lighter colored wood, I'm guessing?
I think so.
Probably.
That'd be nice. I think I'm still waiting for them to do another pass on the stripe wood, because it still looks like
Yeah.
kind of flat and low resi a little bit, and I'm not sure
Uh-huh.
why, but it's always looked like that.
It almost looks like
Oh.
not particle board, but like the laminate kind of the faux wood veneer on wood, the cheap furniture wood.
Mhm.
Captain Aroma, you farm sand by going to the desert and just running across the surface, holding left click on the ground with your pick out.
Yes.
It's totally easy and it looks hilarious. If you can find like a sandy mountain, go up in a spiral, it looks like one of those Tasmanian Devil cartoons or something.
I've got a dry lake bed in a valley under my claim, and so I joke that I regularly ruin my neighbor's view by making big holes in it. You can see from the map. It's pretty fun.
I know, I'm the dork that puts a smiley face, so I've got the two eyes and a big grin, hoping somebody will see it and laugh.
That's awesome. All right, lol, I'm stealing your sand.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm sure, actually, now that I think about it, I'm sure there'll be people writing lots of interesting things in the sand.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, they talked about a little bit with the roadmap that they're going to give us a little bit better of an idea of when things are going to be coming, so that way it isn't going to be this weekly. Is it going to be here this week? Is it going to be here this week? Is it going to? So that'll be really nice, because that way there won't be the fear of water and caves coming through during the Landmarks of Landmark contest, which. Did they say was it May 7th was the deadline?
I believe so.
So
that sounds about right.
That gives us a lot of time to work on that, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to work with somebody else or do a build of my own, but this is definitely something I'm looking forward to.
Very cool. Unicorn, are you going to do anything?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Not my thing, but I'm looking forward to seeing what other people do.
Right. I don't know if I have the talent to do anything to the scale that would even be remotely possible. I mean, I look at all these awesome, like the screenshots that they showed on the stream today, and anybody's build that you can just go see, and I'm like, whoa. Okay, I quit right now. I might as well just quit, turn off the computer, and be done. And I've talked to some of my friends, and they've said the same thing. They're like, oh, I see all these epic builds, and I suck. I can't do anything, and yet I persist. It's strangely addictive. I mean, I can't stop building. I don't know that I'll enter anything, but there'll definitely be some good things.
Just keep at it. I mean, me fucking around with the line tool on Alpha produces builds that apparently everybody sees and goes, whoa, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And then they go all the way to the top and then see
it's
the
flat.
view. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you
that's
very
actually,
much.
that was the name of the claim, too.
Yes.
Nice.
That's a trap, I swear.
I've taken many people to the top, and everyone always has about the same reaction, like, holy shit, this is awesome on the way up, and then at the very top, wow, we're really close to the skybox, aren't we?
Right, totally. It made my palms literally sweat when I was up there. I was like, oh my god, look how high we are. It's insane.
Good thing there's no fall damage yet.
Yet.
Though I'm wondering how much that's really going to be an issue. Like, I feel like fall damage is eventually, early on, maybe something that will be an issue for people that aren't properly equipped, but as you get more equipped, it's one of those things, if you're going to fall to your death, it's because you wanted to, not because you didn't decide to turn on your boots of the Zephyr 5 feet before the ground and glide gracefully and cut your momentum.
Or you didn't quite hit the grapple in time. I'm sure you hit the grapple to save yourself.
There's probably going to be plenty of ways. I'd wager maybe there'll even be a parachute or something if you really have a long distance you want to jump.
Yeah.
So that way you can kind of glide down and guide it.
It's like most MMOs, you can jump from pretty high, and it will hurt you, but it won't kill you outright usually, unless you really get going. So
yeah. It's actually something that I like to do on purpose in EverQuest 2. Like, because when you would land, you would make like this oof kind of sound. And it was like, I would see how far I could jump and to see what, maximum distance I could go before I died and how low my damage meter went.
Wow. That's awesome.
it's good to have hobbies.
Yes, exactly. See, this is what I do in a game. Voidlust may build these epic things, but I take fall damage.
Gotcha.
Hey, if you enjoy it, and that's kind of my thing with Landmark too, is like, I may never build these incredible detailed epic things, but it's fun for me just to mess around with stuff.
Exactly.
So I would say don't get discouraged. Just enjoy yourself. Play.
It's a game.
If you fall from so far that it instantly kills your character, It should just like explode into flesh voxels and do like AoE
Ew.
damage.
Yes.
People can collect you and rebuild you really weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be an achievement for that.
Oh god. There's like a dustpan item you can scrape people into.
Well, that's straight out of what's those names? Cartoons. Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The original the revenge cartoons where all they're doing the entire time is trying to
Trying
do
to kill
something
each other.
vicious to the other one. Yes.
Right.
And it's hilarious. All right, so compasses are now going to be a thing in the game, and I'm hoping with them planet-side waypoints, or
Yes.
landmark style
Landmarks
waypoints.
in Landmark.
But the ability to just put a big glowing beacon somewhere so you can see it on your compass, you can just see it in the distance and run straight over to it. That make things super sweet. The other nice thing that I'd really love to have is a location indicator, basically the /LOC feed out right below the compass, just an additional way to
Right.
get information.
Yeah,
That
it'd be
would be a
nice
great
for
feature.
events and stuff.
Now, that's something I'm wondering is if they're actually going to keep that feature in when the caves and danger and that stuff comes in, or if they'll keep the X and the Y, or I guess the X and the Z in this case, and the depth won't be represented, so that way it's harder for people to find their friends underground, or you won't know how far down you are, and you would actually need some sort of an altimeter. Something
That would be
like,
cool.
because otherwise, it makes it a lot easier. It's like, hey, I found this awesome thing underground. Everybody go to these coordinates, and you just have like, 50 people with pulverizers just, getting after the ground and
Ruining everything.
yeah, ruining everything is right, and then just this big old earthworm hole going all the way down to whatever awesome thing it was, and then everybody gets it, and it's not as exclusive anymore.
Well, that's why you just don't tell anybody when you find something epic. You hoard it for yourself.
Lord it over other people.
That's right.
Like lunar anklets.
Yes. I'm wearing 6 as a hat right now.
I'm working on crafting my armor out of it. It's okay if you hit me with that hammer. I'll just like fly to the moon and then come back.
That's right.
And no fall damage because like lunar
Yeah.
anklets.
Because lunar anklets, that's
Yes, that's
That's
why.
why. That is an
Okay.
interesting point, though, as far as like keeping stuff to yourself versus wanting to share it with the community.
Well, they've already said the altars are going to announce to people in a radius that somebody's found an altar. Maybe it won't necessarily say where, but within a radius, you'll at least be able to kind of either triangulate or look
Right.
on the map and see where there's a big concentration of players heading to.
Or what you can do is do /yell and then say, "Where is the altar?" And can't you see that happening too? Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's spamming the chat.
You just said to hoard awesome things.
It'll be Baron's Chat 2.0.
There you go, chat 2.0. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to that.
I'm not Baron's chat. Ugh. 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 Yuck.
You just need a macro that says your mom over and over again, and you're pretty much done.
Except the situations where that doesn't work.
Yeah, well, sorry I said
Oh, well.
anything. I didn't mean to bring up painful memories.
Yeah, no, it's just so funny that you start the game and there's so much like hope for what's gonna be so awesome, and like maybe there's gonna be some really cool people playing the game too, and then you get to the level 12 area, blah 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 politics, blah 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 farts, blah blah. No, you're stupid. No, you're stupid.
Exactly.
That's oh yeah, and Chuck Norris. You're right, Cody. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
other
forgot about it.
Mankirk's wife. Yes, that's.
Oh, and Thunder Fury. Don't forget.
Yes. So
Okay,
that's.
sorry I said anything. Sorry, guys.
I know it's hilarious.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so they talked a little bit about the contest. Some of the features. The base has to be 50 voxels deep, which, to be perfectly honest, isn't really that far. That's like what, 4 or 5 characters tall,
Yeah,
something
it's
like
not that
that.
big of a deal, I don't
Yeah.
think.
In fact, what it actually means is somebody can have a base that potentially is well, yeah, never mind. The other thing, it's initially I had thought that we were building Spire replacements, like Spire
Mhm.
hub replacements. That's not the case. We're building
Mm-mm, no.
something that goes next to it and is decorative. So all the ideas that I originally had of some epic thing where you walk up these awesome stairs and there's like electricity and like runes glowing and stuff around you, totally not going to be the thing because there's not going to be the interactable crystal teleporting people as a part of it. Maybe that'll be part of a future contest, but right now they just want something big and awesome to have near the stuff. So I'm sure that giant dragon, LEB's sculpture, that was I
Yes.
think
That
in
was
one of
amazing.
It's
the pictures
awesome.
there. Yeah, just amazing. That one's easy. It's
Yeah, that's a shoe-in pretty much.
the that one giant statue with the orb. That one's probably also
Oh, yeah. Stuff like
Which
that
one?
is just
the one with the it was a really big statue with a female holding, I think it was an orb and a staff, and then
Yes.
they put the iron knockers on the titties or whatever, and it became
Classic.
controversial
then
all of
they
a
put the
sudden.
iron knockers on the titties. Quote of the day. Please continue.
Yeah,
Is there a
so I don't.
hashtag for that?
But that one was a pretty awesome build, and actually it got a whole lot of attention before those iron knockers were put on. So, I
Yeah,
think they.
sometimes you have to know when to like scale it back just one step. Yeah.
Hmm.
But there's, I'm sure, going to be a lot of really awesome stuff. Like I said, I'm going to definitely participate. Now, they also said it's the exterior is the focus. A cool interior, that's nice. And maybe if you've got time after the exterior is finished, go through and do some cool stuff with the interior. But it's most definitely not a an interior design contest. That'll be later on, I'm sure, in a different sort of thing. This, they just want something that you pop in, you load the terrain around you, plus this one really awesome looking build, and they said something about marketplaces and such too. So there will be apparently some hustling bustling stuff going on over by each of the spires. So that'll be really nice.
I kind of think what they're trying to do, and I mean, they've basically blatantly said it, so this is not an original thought, but basically they want people when they log into the game once it's released, they want people to log in and see something really amazing right off the bat that players have made. Which I mean, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great way to introduce people to the game, and because it's getting the players involved, it's got not only the feature that you're saying, hey, some players made this awesome thing you're seeing, but they can actually go up to it and see, oh my goodness, these people actually got credit. They're part of the history of this game. I want to do that someday once I upgrade off of this stone pick and stone axe. And
Yeah,
Well, it's inspiring too. It's like, it wasn't a professional designer that made this, it was just another player. So it's
right.
like
And
cool.
look
They
at what
could
the tools
well,
can
Yeah.
do.
the
Okay, well,
the
some of them
player
might be
could be a
professional
professional
designers
designer.
and
Yeah,
designers, but
that's
you know what I mean.
Not paid
yeah.
SOE
Yes, thank
designers, right? Yeah.
I
No,
don't
and I've
know.
been
I
seeing a
bet.
couple of things that oh, I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
was gonna say, I bet Dave is gonna make something and submit it.
I don't think employees are allowed to.
Yeah.
He'll still submit the geothermal plant. It's awesome. It could easily win. Inspiring, yes, thank you, Brad Power.
That's pretty funny. That's a good one, Brad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but what were
Oh
you
no,
gonna
that's
say?
okay. I was just gonna say that people have been posting some screenshots on Twitter and things, and I've been saying, oh, it's amazing. I can't remember who it was, but somebody made this really neat butterfly, and I said you should enter that into the contest. I think it would be great. So I love that there's going to be a huge variety of things that will be entered into the contest and hopefully make it into the game.
Yeah, For sure. It should be really nice to see what they come up with, and the way they described that the base being 50 voxels deep because they need it to be able to kind of stick in the ground where they procedurally place it.
Mhm.
That's really cool because that means it's, I don't know if it's actually going to be added as basically a prop made from voxels, or how that's going to work. They're going to have to do something though, because a lot of voxels, if you move the position where they're located, the material texture is different in that position, so it'll change the appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that would be a consideration that they would have to be able to deal with. So either they would be able to set it up that it will procedurally generate the place in the basically the exact same kind of subgrid coordinates in the world to make sure that all of that stuff is preserved. Or what I'm thinking is that they will actually take the voxels, turn it into an actual model, clear out any stuff that they don't really need to have, any extra geometry and such, and have it, generate with the rest of the world, one per hub. And when the world actually, because I'm pretty sure they'll have it eventually, when the world is actually stitched together and there's multiple spires on one island, that'll be kind of, I think the point of it is that you've got, they are the landmark that says, and like they were saying in the stream, I'm at the spire with the such and such looking thing.
Right.
And those are also really good to help define the genre, because if you walk out and you're looking at something that looks like it either could have been in Tron or could have been a feature of the Death Star, that's probably going to indicate it's a sci-fi area. Versus if you come out and there's copper and pipes and mechanical looking things, and it looks all like Victorian and steampunk, you know what you're going for.
Right.
And dress appropriately.
Exactly. Or change your outfit.
Yeah.
No, I have a theory about the bases. I think that they want it to be 50 deep, and they said it didn't have to be square. I'm wondering if you design this really great base that goes with your landmark. I wonder if they're going to be changing everybody's bases to like a standardized base, or if they will leave your original base as you put it in. So I'm not sure.
It might depend on how involved it is with your design. Like if it's obviously meant to coordinate or something, as opposed to if it's just kind of like put there because you had to. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I think they definitely want it to be something decorative and not just a cube, because if it is potentially going to be sticking into the side of a slope, some of it's going to be exposed, and that's definitely it'll be there and people are going to see it.
Yeah, well, it's like the spires themselves, so that makes sense.
Oh, Ara just said that they said to make it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Said the same thing. Jinx.
Yep, that's right.
Make it pretty.
Yeah.
That's right. Make it pretty.
So that's the other thing I had been wondering about it, is if you made it hollow, if terrain would actually clip through it, or if it would be occluded by the boundaries. And it sounds like it'll be occluded by the boundaries, so there shouldn't be any issue with that. But I believe it also means you'll have to, if you actually have natural looking stuff inside the base, to make sure that it's designed in such a way that it's like actually placed voxels, I believe. I'm not sure if it'll actually copy out dirt voxels. Actually, do either of you know how that works, or anybody in chat? Because I haven't tried it in a while. If you just copy out a section of raw dirt inside of a mountain and paste it somewhere else, like does it actually paste anything, or is that basically negative voxels at that point?
I can't say as though I've ever tried.
Not sure. Not that familiar with it. It seems like though, if you won the contest and had one of the landmarks, they would optimize it for you, because it's in everyone's best interest if it looks good. So.
Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about that other contest that the player run contest that's going
The
on
library.
building? Yeah, the library one. I posted on Twitter about that one.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks. You're a librarian?
Yes, I actually am a librarian, and so I was like, "Sweet, build a library. That's awesome." Like, I don't know if I could build one as epic as I have in my mind, but I think that would be a great contest. And it's from the I wrote down the website so I would remember. Landmark-library.com is where
Ah,
the contest information is, but
gotcha.
their website is almost kind of like a wiki, like a library of information for Landmark. So
Okay.
interesting.
Cool.
Well, you could be a consultant for builders. Hey, no, you can't put that
That's
there.
right.
That's a
That's
hazard.
right.
You can't have workers climbing up like that.
There you go.
This
Those
is all organized wrong.
That's right. Incorrect.
those
Try
ladders were
again.
retired in 1940.
I would love to have a library ladder. That would be sweet.
You should have got one when borders were closing down.
I know, right? Ah, why didn't I think of that?
Oh well.
Oh well.
They seem kind of specific, like all the accommodations to actually be able to install them. But it does seem like it'd be a really cool installation to have in your home. And you're like, yeah, oh yeah,
Seriously.
I've got like enough shelves of books that I totally need a ladder to get up to them.
I know, right? Except for me, I don't have like deep intellectual books. Everybody thinks, oh, you're a librarian. You must read like really serious stuff. No, it's pretty much just romance novels and just the light, fluffy, fun stuff.
Oh, I was gonna guess like Calvin and Hobbes and The Far Side or stuff
Oh,
like
I know it.
that.
Calvin and Hobbes for sure. I have some of that too. Absolutely. Oh, and Mimsy in chat just said card catalog. Yes, I totally have a card catalog in my house.
Nice.
Nice.
Dewey Decimal, or is there a better system?
Dewey Decimal still is used, actually. Library Congress kind of has their own, but Dewey is very much still alive and well in libraries today.
There was a joke on Futurama about how the Dewey Decimal System will make it easier to assimilate Earth's knowledge. It was
How
when
about that?
the giant brains were coming through to learn everything they could about Earth and then destroy it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, funny episode.
Awesome.
Oh, it's Omeed. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Yes, can
So,
drinking with
Omeed-
Omeed be a thing, please?
Drinking with Omeed. Yes,
Poor
indeed.
Omeed and the bobblehead kept getting funked tonight. That poor Omeed.
No,
Oh.
that was just the O-nod. That was just making it do the
Oh, it was
O-nod
the
mode.
O-nod.
I mean, that's the point of the bobblehead. Otherwise, it would just be a statue.
What's wrong with a statue of Omeed? I mean, that's awesome enough right there.
Actually, an action figure would probably be the way to
Yes.
go.
Yes. Ooh, whose puppy dog is that?
Sorry, mine.
Oh,
Because I'm
that's
happy
okay.
that other people exist.
Cute.
Anyway,
All right, so I have a couple other things that I would want to talk about, but before I get into those, are there any other things that you folks wanted to talk about? Any burning desire for a particular feature or a particular prop or something in the game, or just something that you're excited about, or you know, it's all about ranting. If you've got some, go ahead.
I think you know mine because I think yours is similar to mine. But I'm ready for PvP.
Oh, that's
would like to bust
completely
heads,
different,
please.
but yeah.
Oh,
No,
well, never
that's-
mind then.
Yeah, no, PvP. PvP is definitely something. We still haven't even really seen combat, but PvP is definitely something that I'm really excited for. The just the overall like combinations that they're kind of talking about. The idea of kind of using that spear attack where you throw it and then kind of charge at it. Well, okay, well, what if I jump really high in the air and do that? Is there some sort of a damage modifier, or does it just look really cool?
I'm cool with looking cool too.
Yeah.
It's funny.
What about you?
I think what I'm most looking forward to is an element of danger. I'm ready for combat. I'm ready for people to have to throw up an ugly dirt hovel just to survive. Like I'm ready for. I was so excited to see the glass was coming in because I thought sweet, that means we're that much closer to, monsters, because, you can't just have open windows and monsters roaming into your house. You need protection, right? So I was excited that Glass was maybe leading us in that right direction. But the other thing that I really am looking forward to is guilds, some of the more social aspects of the game. Definitely love social aspects to the game. And right now I kind of feel like I'm just knocking around by myself a little bit. So I'm ready. There are some communities that I've been involved with, like the Lay Spring building community has been really great. But I'm ready for like a guild home in the game.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun with just open world PvP in general, but then people actually building arenas and then even having specific props that are designed for combat and PvP scattered about. So it's not just enter from one side and your open combat sort of thing, but more that it's I kind of think about like one of the really fun ones was the open world arenas in World of Warcraft. My buddies and I we were on an open world PvP server. We'd still spend a lot of time in those, just beating the crap out of people. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I got a lot of like the small experience there, and then when the more advanced PvP and the battlegrounds and stuff came in, between that and having all of the raid points and getting all of the gear, and being an engineer and having all the gadgets and explosives, I pretty much kicked everybody's asses PvP. It was a lot of fun. I used every exploit, every little trick, and I could blow apart a group of 3 people like it was nothing.
I think you win the humble award for today. That's awesome.
No, I had a lot of fun with the game.
That's great.
I basically beat the game before the first expansion came out, so I was like, alright, moving on. Yeah. So, house and Swiss cheese. My houses are Swiss cheese confirming. Indeed.
Yes, indeed.
I just think about like if dynamic water was implemented right now, and like what would happen to some of these houses. You start pouring water in the top, they start filling some of the floors a little bit, then it just start pouring out the bottom at some point, because it's I don't with that windows and everything being sealed, and I don't really know how much doors actually block stuff outside of the just stopping a character, if doors would actually block water or not. Because
I don't know. I remember in Alpha you could walk through doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be some, and then how much a door can actually seal an area versus using voxels is another thing, because the edges kind of seem a little porous unless you've built it so it covers the area and looks kind of wonky. But then
I don't know.
And then if someone opens the door, what happens is just all come pouring out, or does it change state? So that's the thing. I'm really not sure how doors and dynamic water and some of these other props are going to work with it. Should be interesting to find out, though. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be something completely silly, like if there's enough volume of water going across the prop and it's doing enough damage, it just dislodges it and returns to your inventory or something. But I don't really know how much somebody can really mess with another person's claim in this way. Mm-hmm. It might be the sort of thing where you divert the water on the person's claim, but unless they kind of accept it and build something that it kind of can flow through, it'll just be blasting on the side of the claim and then kind of flow out around the box of it. Yeah. It should look really funny.
That would look really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Just build a fire hose against someone's window to piss them off.
If you don't like your neighbor and you want them to move.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about the thing that Dave did in the stream with the
the glass box.
Yeah. I'm a mime.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a zoo of people I don't like. It's gonna be awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna do that. Kidding.
So
I don't know if I'm gonna visit your claim. I don't know.
There was one of the first expansion for The Sims brought the sad clown painting. My buddy would bring the sad clown into a closed room, seal it off so the door would be removed, then put the painting near a fireplace so the sad clown would end up getting burned to death in the room in which it was summoned by the sad clown painting. So,
Fun.
yeah,
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, it brings back Sims memories. That's classic.
But of
Uh-huh.
course, evac to safety will make it a little tougher to contain people in that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you,
Crocus in the chat, I'm sorry, Crocus is saying that the compass is backwards.
Nice.
Hmm.
So they planet-side 2'd it up. No, I'm not
well,
joking.
it's the same engine, so
That was an issue in PlanetSide 2 like a couple of weeks ago where and it was actually around for like a week or two. The compass was skewed slightly the wrong direction. So
fun. I didn't
be
see that.
you'd be looking north, but it would say like west or like somewhere between west and northwest. It wasn't a very like predictable spot either, so it just didn't help. Like you
I
couldn't
blame Vanu. Y'all look guilty.
No, we know how to make a proper compass. That sounds like a Clegg original. Speaking of which, congrats to Clegg. He's on H1Z1 now, so
Yeah, good for
yeah,
him.
yeah, for sure. And I guess his final hurrah was making the Swampy Biolab, which will be coming with Hassan. Should be pretty
Cool.
cool. All right. So, any other subjects that either of you wanted to talk about, or features, or props, or any of that stuff? Yes, that's right. That's right, Omeed Vanu.
Boo,
You know it.
Vanu.
You know me and
You
my gorilla
spandex
head.
wearing weirdos.
Hey, that's our winning strategy. Don't knock it. You went-
Intimidating other people with your outfits.
If you won more or wore more purple spandex, you'd probably win more of the stuff. But
Oh, God.
let's see. The past four things in a row, four major events, it's been won by VS by two of them by purple spandex strategy alone. But then before that, we were able to outfight everybody, but TR won the popularity contest, and then the other one was Future Crew just knowing how to follow the rules. So.
Well, at least we have freedom.
No, you don't. You're mercenaries.
Anyway, we're derailing this. We'll have to have a Planet Side live stream one of these days,
one
Neuro.
of these days, for sure. Anyway, so
back
yeah,
to Landmark.
the compass is apparently off. That's funny.
Dude,
Folks
funny.
who are in game, is there any other feature coming with the compass? Can you like put down a glowy waypoint anywhere, or compass is just a compass and it works fine for some people but not others?
Hmm.
I think they would have made a huge deal over waypoints had they put that in.
Yeah.
And we can hope, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh well.
There is one thing that I am looking forward to, and at the risk of, bringing up feminist issues. Which, by the way, I did watch the Evercast show a couple weeks back.
That was a good
really,
one. Yeah.
really excellent show. I really liked that one a lot. But I am definitely looking forward to outfits being in the game that are slightly more feminine, the feminine characters.
Yes, I would like some skirts and or dresses.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one. Thank you.
Now-
Yes.
Here's the thing, though, is they definitely have to be wearable on the masculine characters too.
Totally fine with that.
Go for it.
Because that's one of the things. I mean, there was a big old post. Poor Sorceress Maiden unfortunately got locked because it got over trolled, unfortunately. But it was a really good one on like gender and body type, and
It was an excellent post.
and pretty much in terms of like the role playing sense, it makes perfect sense. Like robots are androgynous; they don't go by a he or a she. R2D2 doesn't have any junk under the trunk. He's, he, she, it. It doesn't make it's. Well, that's but we don't talk about robot sex in Star Wars, so
Yeah.
that's it's not a subject that comes up. So if somebody makes a character in such a way that they look like a robot and they don't want to be called a he or a her, but they'd rather go by there's going with a very neutral they or instead of he she or one of the more recent variations that we've been seeing for people that want to use something that kind of fits those pronouns, but doesn't use any of the pre-existing pronouns. And there's actually a guide for that sort of thing. Once again, it was in the post. It just makes sense for me that in the grand scheme of the game, being able to have a male character who has a feminine body type and face is totally acceptable, or maybe having later on a third like androgynous in between the two type of body, because we're never going to see the characters naked. We're never going to see them with all of their clothes off. So it's really not going to be that big of an issue. In fact, I don't even think there's like an underwear version of the characters anyway. You're pretty much limited to the default costume if you aren't wearing something fancy. So there's not going to be any of that, striptease stuff going on anyway.
I have noticed though that the pants on the males stretch interestingly in different places than they do on the women. That's all I'm going to say about that.
And it's a weird thing with outfits on models, because it's not just putting textures in places, but it's also a matter of the rigging of where materials are supposed to go. Sorry, everyone, you might have seen something weird there for a moment. So basically, it's like if I've got a material that goes here, as the arm moves around, the material either has to have enough fidelity to squash and stretch properly there, or otherwise everything needs to be modeled in such a way that the arm doing that is very minimized, and you don't see that animation and that that action with the material very much. No pink orb. Aww.
Oh,
I quit.
there's some yes.
Happy Easter, everybody.
No pink balls for you.
Yeah.
Well, I think as the game goes, they'll add more character customization options in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that includes, more androgynous stuff. Especially since it seems like there's a demand for it, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely still. It's not just alpha anymore, but it is just beta, so they still have plenty of time to tackle issues.
Yeah, and it'll be a long road. I mean, that's one of the things in like the greater scheme of character customization that I'd love to see, like gender representation and things along those lines are just one facet. Being able to really like fully retweak the proportions of the body, have like a tiny head with giant eyes, and this weird long gangly looking neck and gangly looking limbs with giant hamburger helper hands, and really minimize lower torso where the legs are just little chicken legs, and call it an alien race. And that would totally work, because while we're still using the human proportions or the proportions of the human model, we're skewing them in such a way that it looks completely unhuman. And quite frankly, the thing I described would be pretty horrifying.
No, but that's hilarious. If you get enough people, like if you get everybody in your guild to have like the same basic settings, then you can be like the guild of alien race people.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, and then other interchangeable features. Era talked about, body proportions and ears and stuff. Yeah, that being able to add horns and cat ears and 3 boobs. I don't know.
The third nipple.
Going with the whole Total Recall thing.
Oh, I was going for the Friends Chandler Bing third nipple thing. Okay.
So that was one of the other. Oh, there was one other thing. Contribution level. So if you contribute 5% of the voxels towards the build for these build contests, that counts you as being a contributor. How do we know?
Oh, I did see that.
What kind of an indicator is there to know like how much of a percent everybody is added to it? Because on one hand, I could see them not putting that in because they don't want one awesome claim that was built by largely by a few people to then have the other 15 people, all of their friends, play the voxel delete and re-add game until all of them have 5% and they all have, you have 20 people contributing and they all get lunar anklets. But at the same time, it would really suck to put a lot of work into something, leave for a couple of days, come back, and the area that you had been working on was deleted out by somebody else and then replaced with different voxels or done in a different way, or maybe it was done with props. And then not only do you lose your contribution and the voxels that you put into it, but you don't know then how much more you have to do to how much more you have to do to actually get back up to the 5% threshold or be above. So
They had mentioned something though about being able to tell when you, I don't know if it was when you submit or when you template up your claim. I think that am I the only one that heard that on the live stream tonight? There's something.
yeah, it'll have some way that it'll know how much everybody contributed, but I don't know if there's anything in the interface that'll tell us.
Oh, like as you're building. Gotcha.
Yeah. By the way, everybody, the camera did lock up there for a moment. Latte, your camera's locked up.
Oh no! Am I making a weird face? Probably I am, huh?
Not quite. Some of Uni had some really funny ones last week when we were
God.
trying to get her broadcast going.
It was so bad.
I don't think I want to know. Thanks. Just say I look great and we'll move on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Fucking Skype.
I know. Try turning your camera off and on again, maybe? Would that work?
Yeah.
Or would that break your broadcast nerve?
It'll be fine if you do that. It should keep everything in the right place. If you want to try that real quick.
Okay. I'll give it a whirl.
Because
You look very serious.
yeah, it is such serious business, like totally like laser like focus going on, just like the Landmark Live with their laser like focus. Oh, looks like it's working now.
Oh, great.
Yay.
Okay. I don't know what I did, but yay.
Okay, cool. Speaking of which, I didn't hear Omeed say his catchphrase this time.
Catchphrase?
Just the tip. It is Omeed's catchphrase on Landmark Live. I don't know if anybody else is.
I have not noticed that. I've
Yeah.
noticed the love seed, of course.
Yeah, the ozone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to notice that.
Yeah. So, allegedly they were going to put the link up again for SOE Live registration. Yes, you did, Omeed. You could have talked about the height of the claim, and it's like, for, yeah, 50 voxels, something about, I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Give me a little shout out before the stream next week about the subjects, and I'll help you figure some way to weave it in there.
Work it in. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, SOE Live, totally awesome.
Are you guys gonna go?
Yeah, Omeed's gonna
I'll
have
be
a
there.
Scotch party.
Sweet.
Gonna be looking forward to that.
That's great.
Good one, Omeed.
Oh, wow.
That's funny digs. That's a good one. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to make it this year. Unfortunately, it's at like the worst time of the year for me. Being a school librarian, I mean, that's right when school is just gearing up, and
Ooh,
it
yeah.
really looks bad to take your vacation right when you've just been off for 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, because
maybe next year.
there's not the sort of thing where you can be like, yeah, I'm here during the summer, let's do this.
Right.
Uni, I don't know what you sent me. I can't click over without it messing up the cameras.
Oh, never mind then. It's a secret.
Yes, it is a secret. Yeah, SOA Live is going to be a lot of fun. Doing a meetup, of course, that'll be a thing for sure. I'm sure, like all the Into the Portal folks and Evercast folks and
Yeah.
folks that do all the various different shows, try to get all the live feature rant guests that are going to be there, do something. Should be
Yeah, I
fun.
feel like it's just going to be constant getting together for parties and stuff. I'm excited.
Pretty much, and that's like, what else would you want to have for a basically a 3-day vacation?
Hmm.
Perfect.
Just parties, parties, parties. Uh,
Hmm.
Holy shit, that's awesome! Parties, parties, parties. Holy shit,
Exactly.
that's awesome! Parties, parties. Holy
Exactly.
shit, I won! Parties, parties. And maybe the food will be super awesome this time. It was better than the stuff at Bally's I had in 2012, but
Oh man, that was bad.
Really.
it
Hmm.
so Bally's, the way I would describe it, the hot food came out cool and the cold food came out warm, and none of it tasted good.
Accurate.
That's
And
so unfortunate.
and for 2 years now, I don't know about previous years, the vegetarian option. I'm not a vegetarian, but like very limited, like maybe a salad and bread was like it. And that's
Oh,
the
that
thing, like
stinks.
I'm not a vegetarian, but I know a lot of people there are. Like T-Ray, the art director over on Planetside, he's been with the company for years, or he's done stuff with SOE for years, and they can't even accommodate him with the proper meal. So hopefully that'll be something. There's kick-ass vegetarian things that non-vegetarian folks will eat too. So
Hmm.
they just need to kind of work at it a little bit. Try to crash E3. Diggs, if you get to E3, let me know. I'm probably going to be doing E3 again this year myself.
Very
E3 is
cool.
fun. But yeah, E3 is like a completely different thing. Like E3 is my time to bug Dave about things because he can't go anywhere because he's got to stay at the booth.
While you have him trapped.
Well, I've got him trapped, and they roll out the beer cart for a couple
Excellent.
hours every day. So that's what we got me drunk last year. Well, not drunk, but buzzed.
Sweet. Love it. That sounds
Yeah,
like a really good time.
yeah, it is.
Very
But
cool.
that
I
was
was excited to hear the announcement about PAX South
Yes,
in
I'm
San
so excited.
Antonio.
I'll be
Oh,
there
that is
too.
so close to me. I'm really hoping that would be awesome.
that'd be great. Yeah, both of you be able to have real short commute for that one.
Hmm.
Pretty
Hmm.
cool. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. And it's really good to see that PAX is continuing to expand. The GAY GamerCon unfortunately is announced that this is going to be their second and final year because financially they just haven't been getting the same kind of backing. So
Hmm.
that's kind of unfortunate. But the fact that in general game conventions are continuing to increase in the number and the size and what's available. Last year was the first year for GDC Next, which is focused on mobile devices. That came after, and that comes in November in Los Angeles versus years previous they had GDC Online in Texas in the dead of summer for some reason.
Ugh.
So
Oh, yuck.
I don't know why they would do that, but this one makes a lot more sense. But all of those things, they're completely like a different sort of thing than SOE Live. SOE Live, it's just all awesome. You don't have to worry about like being professional or job headed or anything. You can be walking around with the 6 foot like double yardarita.
Oh,
You know,
God.
there's at least like one dude from TRG who had one of those slung over his shoulder the entire time. Because it
Those
comes
just look
it
like a
comes with a
hangover to
shoulder
me.
strap.
You have to walk that fine line, unicorn. You can't have too much fun.
Well,
It's
not so much that much alcohol, but that much like sugary alcohol. I'm just like,
Yeah.
ugh.
yeah, for sure. It's something you gotta have in moderation. Otherwise, I could see trouble coming from that.
Planning is key.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I will say the Earl of Sandwiches they have at Planet Hollywood, good stuff, but their croque monsieur is bullshit. They don't have a good bechamel, and I don't think their
Mhm.
Gruyere is that good either. And their Cuban sandwich is dynamite, but you have to specify no mayonnaise, which is wrong because Cuban sandwiches don't have mayonnaise. But just a couple tips here from
Okay, good to know.
a sandwich enjoying individual.
Did you ride the mechanical bull, Neuro?
No, I didn't ride the mechanical bull.
Okay, that's happening this year.
I saw a bunch of people getting on that day. It's like, wow, good luck. No, I was more focused on chatting it up with all the folks at the bar there at that point. Yeah, Brass still owes me 2 drinks from last year, so
Oh, really?
yeah. Yeah, so it was basically the offer that if I go to SOE Live last year, 5 drinks on her, and
Nice.
only ended up cashing 3 of those in, so I'll get the other 2 this year.
There you go. Or were they a 1-year expiration? And
Oh
it's
no
too
no
late?
no! She said the next year or the next time
Okay, cool.
drinks are being purchased, but then there's very specific limitations to that because after the Year of EverQuest event, she managed to get all of the dinners from everybody bundled up on the corporate card, so the drinks were on SOE, but not specifically on her, so those ones
So
didn't
that
count.
one didn't count.
Yeah.
Did she try to slide that one in on you?
No, actually, she was the one that insisted that this one didn't count. So,
That's sweet.
yeah, Swift Mithril Pick,
Yeah,
nice.
very cool.
As a new icon. That's cool.
Fancy.
Yeah, radio just said in chat, careful, or if you close your windows, you'll have to use the doors. That is so true because I see our stream all the time bouncing out her windows, to go around to her stations. She'll have to leave one window open for her own ease of access.
Like a cat door, but an Ara door.
Exactly, an Ara door. Love it.
Jeez, this is gonna make Castles and Crapshacks really interesting because I do come in through a lot of people's windows a lot of times. So.
Exactly, yeah.
Creeper Neuro is creeping through your windows,
You never
snatching your
know.
people up.
Yeah, that reminded me of something I read earlier that when Dave was at PAX, he just jumped onto Cold Night's Claim live, during a stream. And I'm thinking, oh my God, can you imagine if all of a sudden, somebody jumps onto your stream live? That would be a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Hey, look, there's Dave Jorkson. Everybody wave.
Yeah. Now that I haven't really watched. I watched the PAX footage, but I think I need to rewatch. I might have missed a couple of things, but I don't really know that I missed anything. It seemed like there was all stuff that all of us pretty much already knew about.
Mm-hmm.
So just more of a general presentation to all the folks at PAX, which it was really good because it got a lot of exposure for the game, and hopefully that means more people will be starting to show up soon.
Absolutely.
Throckmorton, you should be. You need to build up something looking nice.
He showed up
Oh,
randomly at my claim the other day, and I
Can't-
asked if he was scouting crap shacks.
Don't come to my claim. Don't go. I'm not telling you where it is.
Well, if I see a flat plane of stone with just a few tools on it in the middle of nowhere, or maybe up somewhere really awesome, and it's got your name on it, I'll check with you first before I'm like, oh, I know who made this, and they should be ashamed.
The claim is bad, and you should feel bad.
Yeah, but I mean, the point of Castles and Crap Shacks isn't to go around shouting down people for having terrible claims and outing them to community as being bad builders or having given up before really giving it a shot, but more really to highlight the awesome stuff. And the Crap Shacks are just basically an artifact of something somebody hasn't built up or it hasn't been claimed by the upkeep system.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I've never heard you really occasionally you say, yeah, this is a crap shack. But you're always good about posting the good stuff on Twitter. And honestly, I think the crap shack's just the funny part.
It is. It is pretty funny. I mean,
Yeah.
there's people that admit that they're not builders, and then I go to their claim, and it's totally awesome.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, you've got a good layout, good use of materials,
Hmm.
you know. But no, people don't, I guess, don't realize how simple it is to take a bunch of voxels and make it look like something nice. It really doesn't take a lot of effort, and
Hmm.
it really even doesn't even take a lot of creativity. It just you can look at somebody's build and it's like, wow, that's amazing. It's an amazing amount of detail. You can look at somebody's build and like, well, that's really awesome. I'm just gonna do like simple wood there instead of that ornate thing, and I'm gonna instead of doing those fancy microvoxel windows, I'll just make the windows a little bigger and just do one by one standard size voxels and fill it with glass. Now that we've got glass
Hmm.
windows, I'm really excited to see not just windows, but the sort of structures people are going to be building with glass. Because I know I'm going to
Oh
be
gosh.
Hmm.
actually building, full-on structures. Definitely not staircases, for the ladies' sake. There's actually, I can't remember where it was, not Riot, but there was a game studio that actually has a lucite staircase, and it's like, really, really, guys.
I've heard of places that have clear dance floors before, like see
Oh
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
But in Landmark, we're all wearing pants for now,
That's
so
yeah,
we're
for
right.
now,
good.
No
for now.
skirts, so we're good.
Yeah. Soon
No,
as kilts come in, though, soon as kilts are there,
that's
All the
right.
stairs.
all
I
the
mean,
stairs.
No, like on the live stream today, when Dave jumped into the box and was like doing the mime thing, I thought he was gonna do like play like a joke, like he was a bird flying into a window and splat. Can't you just see everybody like splatting into people's builds that they can't even see? They don't know we're there.
sliding down slowly.
That's right. Oh no.
Oh, that would be awesome if you have an avenue that a lot of people go through while
Mhm.
grappling along to somewhere else that's cool in the area. Just putting up a random piece of glass and just seeing how many people smack into it,
Exactly. Yes. And now you're thinking that's awesome.
because it's a lot easier. I had thought about doing that previously with just a field of the tiniest size of little pip, because they're
Yes.
they're
Oh
almost
man.
invisible when you're moving that fast. Maybe when everything's all wonky and still low res and hasn't fully rendered, you might see like, what's that debris in the distance, and you get close and it disappears. But then all of a sudden your grappling hook is at the end of something here, but you're stuck here wiggling on a bunch of
You're
you don't
clotheslined
know
onto the
what.
tiny little pip. Yeah.
And you really win by posting a YouTube compilation of people failing at the.
Yes.
Yes. That would be it. That would be awesome. Somebody do that, please. That would be great.
Mhm.
That reminds me of the compilations of people that just sit around filming the low pass bridges to see when a truck
Oh
comes through
God.
and wrecks the top of the truck. It's
That's real life though. That's a little more sad.
Uh-huh.
but the bridge is just fine. That's the funny thing. I always laugh. It's like, oh, that truck just got fucked up by that bridge.
I saw that happen once. That was pretty
It's
bad.
it's pretty gnarly. It is like it's not something anybody's happened to them.
Yeah.
It sucks, but at the same time, you gotta know your height clearance. It's
That's a noob mistake. Yeah.
how high up things are is totally a thing.
Yeah. Actually, a highway by my house got shut down for like a month because someone knocked out a chunk of bridge and most of their truck too.
Wow.
It
Oh
was
my
sad.
gosh.
My
Crazy.
favorite is the wood frame trucks where it just peels the entire top off and it rolls back like a sardine can.
That's pretty
Haven't
much
seen
what I
that.
saw. Yeah.
Those are the best. Yeah, off the topic though.
I
Let's
know. Yeah,
see.
we're skewing.
Upgrades are gonna be in.
But
So,
not with the picks you have. I
but
wanted
that's
to
fine because those will
try.
get salvaged. Meanwhile, the new stuff that we're making, I think part of it is that they're also rebalancing the stats and what kind of things can even be on the items. So what is currently called a Swift Mithril pick might not actually translate to anything in particular with the new system. So it just, it doesn't know what to do with the stats and what to do with that upgrade and such. So I don't really know I don't know. They've said they're going to be legacy items and that you're going to be able to salvage them. So it'll just be a matter of once the system comes in, seeing the kind of stats, seeing if they're comparable to the old versions of the items. And if the legacy ones are all comparable or worse, they'll probably just all get broken down and turned into scrap material for better stuff. Some people might still keep some of them around as like a as an item that shows, oh look, I was in the beta, but at the same time, as a part of an inventory cleanup pass in the future, they could just delete everything that isn't conforming to the current system. So it could be, collecting for no good reason.
Mm-hmm. He did mention something about them being legacy picks. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what they mean, is that it's not
Right.
something that can be used in the new system. It's an old system. It's still around. It's still supported, but they don't like it.
Makes me think that they maybe not will not delete them though. Hopefully,
Yeah.
that'd be great if you could like frame your pick on the wall. Like the first
Yeah.
pick I got in alpha, or not anymore, but in beta.
I had asked about that as a feature, I think last week on the live feature rant, to be able to, or
Yeah.
actually maybe it was on Into the Portal, perhaps both. That sometimes happens, but just being able to turn your equipable items into a prop that can be placed, whether you're making a scarecrow and you just want to have the outfit out there and the T pose on a stick or something with a funny hat on it, funny voxel hat. Um, or if you want to have, like you said, a pick or many picks decorating the wall, or even having it set up in such a way that maybe later on with the PvP stuff, like, yeah, you put the swords on the wall, they're a decoration until you come up and click on it and pick it up, and now it's a weapon.
Hmm. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it was like Latte was saying in Galaxies, you could pretty much put down everything in your house and people would build some really cool stuff, but then they also had like trophy rooms. So,
Exactly, like a museum kind of a thing.
mm-hmm. Something like that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I'm sure going to be in at some point. Just when they're going to do it, I don't know. And
Yeah.
they've got plenty of time. No rush. There's pretty much no rush for any particular feature because it all needs to go in before they can move to the next phase and then the next phase. But it'll be really nice when it is in as a feature.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Throckmorton said they do that in AQ too as well.
Yeah.
That's
They
right.
do. Pretty cool. And some of the armor that you can get in EQ2, you can like mount onto a dummy, a
Yeah.
dummy mannequin, whatever.
I think that's how the system works in DCO. That you not only have the armor and the aesthetic in one of these Batman armor tube things, but then you can also, when you're out in the field, you're actually swapping between one set of equipment and the other based on what you have on display in those tubes.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, that'd be a really neat system to have because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of switching out during the course of things. Transport mode, harvest mode, and combat mode are probably three common things that everybody's going to do just because why are you going to be going into battle with things that are just going to make you move around fast but aren't really going to help you fight very well. Likewise, why harvest with anything other than things that give harvest and discovery bonuses?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, I think people would want like socializing clothes, like we were talking about earlier. Different outfits for different theme
That's right.
frames.
That's
So
right.
wouldn't be surprised at
Pajamas.
all. Pajamas, yeah, pajama party.
Pajama pants in game, please. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Just there's a,
Sango just said something in the chat. What did he say? Had to check, and if you do go far down enough while digging right now, you can enter another tier.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
what does another tier mean? Because if you're just talking about when you get to the part where it's all dark and foggy, that's not another tier.
I don't know.
I've never
But-
gotten down to the dark and foggy part before.
Oh yeah, you dig down, it starts getting
Yeah.
dark and foggy, and then you keep going further, and then just becomes total blackness. And you get even further, and it gets this really weird glowy multi-shadow light effect, and you're under the
Huh.
world, and
Yeah, I think actually, Neurotoxin, one of the first streams I ever saw you do was one where you're just digging straight down to the bottom.
with the dynamite, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that
Let's.
was that was the one with the green dick.
I don't remember the green dick
That
part,
was
but
that was I digged all the way down. I was about to do the thing with the dynamite. I was tweeting out to everyone. Then I went to a spot that caused me to get kicked under the ground. Where I came up on the surface was Inspector Schmoog's very classic penis with "sorry" written below it. Uh,
At least he
right,
was polite about it.
right in the middle of the stream there, and it was hilarious.
oh
I
my
had
god.
reported it like a week or so before on because I'd seen it on Castles and Crap Shacks, but
Uh-huh.
it was still there. So seeing it there in the middle, it's like, well, at least he made one that's detailed.
And then he walked away.
And then he walked away, pretty much.
I missed
Wonder if
that.
he's
I
still
missed that part of it. I think I would have remembered that part.
So you might have just caught the second half then, the
Mhm.
second time down.
It's stupid, but like you were saying, Latte, when you get up really high, you get nervous. When I get really like deep underground, I get claustrophobic, which is funny because I don't in real life, but something about mining weirds me out.
Yes, I have heard other people talk about that too, where they like some of the friends I was playing Minecraft with, like he would only rely on somebody else to do the mining because he would like hyperventilate.
Oh man, I'm not that bad, but it's a little uncomfortable.
Well, yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
really tight corridors and there's very little light. Doesn't really help for that sort of thing.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons why the pulverizer is nice because you can just kind of slowly dig out a large tunnel around you instead of just, going down in a straight line and then after you're all the way there, being forced in first person to finally be able to look up and find your way out and
Hmm.
Hmm.
that sort of stuff. If you've dug down far enough or you've been there long enough, maybe chatting with somebody, it might have even healed behind you and then you start roping back. It's like, hey, wait, where the heck do I get out
Then
of
you
here?
die
Then you gotta pulverize your way back out, or whatever.
or live down there.
Or live down there, yeah.
Or move in.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what they're gonna do for that. I mean, I'm still not sure what they're gonna do for potentially having temporary claims out in, like, down in the depths, because not necessarily something I'd want to have as a permanent thing that I'm building up, but just being able to claim out a space for,
Hmm.
a short period of time and be able to put down temporary tools and temporary defenses and stuff would really be great. And basically like a sort of temporary mining camp sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely. That would be great.
Because that's and I think maybe it was a couple of weeks or 3 weeks ago that I had talked about that sort of stuff. Having some sort of temporary items that you can craft and place in the world, which will hold form and keep that area hollowed out for a period of time, so you can,
Hmm.
keep working in an area without having to redig back through to a previous spot.
Hmm.
I don't know how they would get around that with, everything supposedly healing after 20 minutes. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. It would be when this thing has been placed in the area, it doesn't allow healing within a certain radius
Mhm.
until it's been destroyed, or it's until the
Maybe it would
timer's
have a
expired.
timer or
Yeah,
something.
it'd be like either a timer or a health or a combination, so creatures could potentially destroy them behind you, and
Oh,
then
no,
you're
don't
sealed
give
It's a
them
really
that
good
idea.
idea,
Don't give
actually.
that idea.
But that would be, in combination with being able to set up camps and stuff deep underground and being able to use those, and potentially even being able to have something, maybe not to teleport people to that point, but when people are all done and they're ready to go, being able to set up a final, like, temporary exit portal or something that everybody can jump through and go back up to the surface.
Hmm. Cool. I like that idea.
Hmm.
I've got to say, I'm really glad that the evac to safety works based on the procedural terrain rather than just like putting you to some arbitrary point in the sky and letting you fall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like sticking you in someone's wall or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
that would
like,
be pretty
what
fun.
is it in Harry Potter where they like have to learn to teleport, otherwise they'll get stuck. What's that
Uh-huh.
called? I forget. Oh, apparating.
Oh, there you go. Good job. I should have remembered
Thank
that
you.
one.
It was I think was it Dragon Quest or Dungeon Quest, that old board game RPG sort of thing that was kind of like D&D Junior, basically. That was the sort of thing that if you were a wizard and you had teleport through wall, if the DM really didn't like you, or they advised ahead of time and you didn't listen, they'll have not just the one wall there, but they'll have a wall behind it. So you teleport through it, and then you're stuck in a wall and you're dead, and your character is
Nice.
unrecoverable. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. And that's the role playing and the features and stuff that we're going to be able to have. I'm really excited for that. It's going to be a ways out before we have the interactions, and I think they mention about blah blah blah. Looking forward to the interactions on the live stream. That's I've said before, I basically want, not just the Gary's mod of voxels going on here, but really being able to just, do all the things that they said about, like, being able to create your own D&D campaign. I actually really want to be able to create things that can generate stuff procedurally at the press of a button, so I can actually create something to the likes of a procedural roguelike dungeon that you start with, a bare character with no equipment, and then you kind of have to travel through the procedurally generated area using different cells that I've defined.
Wow,
Basically,
that would be crazy.
pretty much I want to make Rogue Legacy and Landmark. Or, that's that kind of game. I'd really love to be able to do that and have those kind of features. This is... I know Diggs is going to say, no, if they do that, the game's not going to come out till 2020.
Exactly.
That's not actually what Diggs sounds like, by the way, but...
No, that would be really cool, and that's where I'm really excited that this game is headed. I mean, the potential. I know right now we're just scratching the surface, and the potential is insane. It's going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody get the sense today on the live stream that Dave was maybe getting a little bit annoyed with everybody asking him when things were going to come in?
I don't blame him one bit.
Not that I blame him at all, but I was kind of like, oh yeah, Dave's getting really sick of hearing when's water, when's caves, when's blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I think people are just excited, but they don't realize that it's like the millionth time they've been asked it.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to know, and they definitely want to tell us, and it's definitely been hinted at. But the way things were sounding a month or two ago, we'd be expecting to have it about a week or two from now, and that's definitely 100% not the case, because the contest isn't even going to be wrapping up until the May 7th. So, that being the case, no, it's not going to be coming for a while. But it's really nice that they're actually telling us now that they're looking to redefine the roadmap a little bit and readjust everything, so that way it's not really going to be that bad. It'll be a lot more defined what's going to be where, how far out it actually is. Realistically saying everything is, at least 1 month or further out, unless further information comes through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much how it is with everything. Everything is more or less a month away until they say it isn't.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also, it's like he said on another stream, they're not going to keep it from us when it's ready.
Right.
Totally not. Right. Yeah.
So, patience is a good thing.
And I think, everybody's been very patient. It's easy to forget that, Dave is just one person at the center of directed all these different, people saying win, 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 win. And I think they're all handling it really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about if there was just answer secretaries, just people that while you're playing whatever game, they've got a second keyboard, they've got all the macros and everything set up. So you're just sitting there building, and every now and then you'll see your chat flash with somebody who presses the macro for go read the roadmap, or that feature has been canceled for now, or whatever it would be. So that way they can just enjoy the game and do what they're gonna do, and someone else is handling all the chat for them. And
exactly. I do feel sorry for them for sure.
Yeah, Yeah, Omeed, it would be really awkward to wipe during a
Yes, that would be awkward.
contest.
Not to be recommended.
Challenge mode, go.
Yeah, seriously.
You now
Well,
have 2 days to finish.
that's right.
And all your
And there's the
old,
disclaimer.
all your old build side, and it's hardcore mode now.
That's right.
Building hardcore mode. When claims
Mhm.
go up, when the upkeep is done, they just die. They just go away.
Also, you only have the delete tool. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
I can dig it.
Yep.
Give me a mount, and I can make a castle with the delete tool.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure some people could do amazing things with just the delete tool.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'd love to have. That's something I've been thinking of doing, is having build challenge shows where just get a few people together using the multi-twitch and saying, all right, just line tool is all you get, or maybe
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
select tool and add tool is all you get, or something.
And you've got 15 minutes and go, kind of a deal.
Probably like an hour, but yeah,
Yeah.
basically, what can you do?
I like that.
That's a great idea, actually. I love it. There's kind of a mod for that in Minecraft. I don't remember. Was it Seth Games? I don't remember. Seth Bling? I don't remember.
I don't know. I didn't play Minecraft.
Sorry.
Cool. So they didn't really run over that long with Landmark Live today. It was done within like 10 minutes of. Okay, so we can't run too long extra today. 'Cause
Yeah, it's pretty short and sweet.
But
People are saying you're quiet, Neuro.
yeah, I was just kind of mumbling to myself there,
Oh.
everybody. Of course, I don't know how long ago I started mumbling to myself that it's now starting to show up, so I don't know. But, oh well. Looks like everything's coming through now, just fine.
It is nice that they've posted the update notes before the live stream. So then it's not like you have to hang on every single word in case you're worried about missing something, You can kind of skim it over first and then kind of get details about the features.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I liked that. That was really cool. They should do that every week. I like that.
Yeah, it's tough to do though, because Wednesday being the tentative plan for when patches are coming out.
Exactly.
Tuesday you could know what's gonna go into it. Wednesday might be when
It
you
might
find
not.
Wednesday you might have an idea, but it doesn't even go in. Thanks for the follow. Doesn't even go in until the Thursday, and then it's one of those hellish Thursdays where they try to patch early, and then one thing after another keeps breaking, and it's and those are like not just for morale, just really tough days to have to go through on the dev team, but then also in terms of productivity. I'm sure everybody would love to have the patch go up, work the first time, so they can continue doing their work, because every day that has to be spent going back and fixing something that was supposed to go in an update. It's just such a big loss of time, and it's such a big change of pace, especially if somebody's already moved on to something and have already been 2 to 3 days into it, and they've got good momentum going. So it's something that it sucks for everybody when this sort of stuff happens, but with this amount of code and this amount of experimental stuff kind of going into a game, you've got to be able to expect issues happening. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
but the fact that the patch notes came when they did before the show, that was really good. I didn't
It's
even
really
think
convenient for us.
I didn't know that there was really going to be an update today. I thought it was going to be tomorrow, because all of yesterday I was waiting for them to say when the update was going to be and all of that. Didn't see a thing. I think I was up to like 2 or 3 and still didn't see anything. And then finally, see awesome uni.
Oh, you were a fast typer.
I thought I muted it. I'm sorry.
It's all
That's
good.
okay.
sorry.
Like maybe 6 or 8 hours. I know. I guess it's like maybe 8 hours or so. It's like, oh, apparently there is going to be an update, and the notes are coming shortly.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that they are, as much as I'm eager to get, of course, everything in the game yesterday, I'm glad that they're slowing down. I felt really sorry for them the first week of alpha. I mean, just killing it. They were just busting their butts and like getting sick. And I mean, the last thing you need is, for morale to go down and people starting to get sick and things like that. So I'm glad they're kind of chilling out and taking a more human pace.
Yeah.
Except Steve Klug, because he doesn't have to, because he's a machine.
Poor Steve.
Apparently, he eats code, and I'm not gonna finish that.
No, don't.
I'll just leave it. He eats code.
Good to know.
And crafts programs. Okay, continuing on.
There you go.
I was gonna say we've already talked about dicks and iron boobs and what else tonight. I mean, how bad can it
I
be,
know.
honestly?
Exactly. Might as well
Yeah.
throw some shit in there while we are at it.
Yeah, damn, I should have had a beer for this stream. Oh well.
Yeah.
That keyboard, that is so awesome.
Sorry.
And you've got such an awesome fast words per minute that it just comes out rapid fire.
Clackety, clackety, clackety.
I know. Seriously, I'm impressed.
It's really cool.
Well, I'm glad y'all like it. Radio said robot sex.
I know, robot sex. Yeah, that's right. We did talk about robot sex too.
Yep.
We have covered all the bases.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a good thing that the show and the channel have a mature rating. I should probably put that somewhere, that the show has a mature rating. But then again, I feel like if people have something where they don't want to see mature content, they will get a warning when they come to my channel. So I don't really mind.
Yeah. And I think I'm all into self-moderating. You don't want to hear it, then you can
Yeah,
leave.
exactly.
Paradox, a fembot in a manbot's man-pewter's world. The Neurostein.
Sexual revolution. Yes, you did mute that time. I'm impressed.
Yay.
Good job.
I'm getting better.
Cool.
Paradox making me paranoid. Thanks.
I'm just catching up on some of the chat, and Throckmorton said, "Tonight we dine in hell," and I'm thinking, okay, I'm missing the context here.
Yeah.
Someone was saying they were going to see the new 300 movie.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh. Well, how many of them are there? They got like 298 more to go after this, right?
I don't know. I thought they all ended poorly last time. Not to spoil anything.
Well, I mean that's normally how the story. If you read the book, that's how it goes. So.
Well, it's history, right?
Yes, that's
It's the Battle of Thermopylae.
That's the book. I mean, the history
Oh,
book.
okay. You meant like the book about the movie, and I was like,
No, but
spoiler alert, it really happened.
I think
right.
that was particularly based on a graphic novel, if I'm not mistaken, though.
It
And that's
was.
where a lot of the aesthetic and such came from.
Mhm.
The digital abs that all the dudes had. It's hilarious. What? But
I
that's the
approve.
thing. As soon as like the modern HD came out, it just wrecked the movie, because the thing that the TVs do, where it automatically cleans up all the layers and everything, you can see, okay, that's a digital dust layer, that's a digital dust layer, that's a digital dust layer. Those are clearly actors on a set. That's clearly a background that they've just added in, and it just breaks apart movies. It's a funny feature.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're definitely not talking about landmark
Yeah, we're
request
definitely
next
just
anymore.
straying
So
far from the
it
topic.
is about time to wrap
Clarington,
this
oh my
one
God.
up here. So once again, we've had the awesome 3-name crew here tonight. We've had Super Fancy Unicorn and Tall Ice Latte. This is Live Feature Rant, episode 12. I am the host, Legendary Neurotoxin, and I'm going to do a giveaway here after the show wraps. So stick around, and you can win something. So I'm gonna put
Yay,
on
something.
Yay.
this here, and yep. Thank you very much, folks, and see you later.
Bye, guys.